Blog Talk Radio.
Recruiting Animal here on August 5, 2020. For some reason, I wrote 2016. Anyway, in 1962, on this date, Marilyn Monroe was discovered dead. Okay. At first, they said she committed suicide, but I don't think that's what happened. I think she just made a mistake with the sleeping pills and the booze. She took too much and she died, right? But that points to something I want to talk about today very briefly. I read an article this morning by a smart guy in China, and he started it off by saying, I'm going to quote him, "They say you learn the most from failure. They say you learn the most from failure. But I want to tell you something. That's not true, okay? If it was true, I would be a billionaire, and Marilyn Monroe would not be dead, okay? Maybe she would be dead, but not from pills and booze, from old age, right? She'd be in her 90s now. Anyway, look, it's obvious you learn from both success and failure, but I'll bet that you learn more from success, if only because it gives you the confidence to keep trying, okay? And think about my guest today. She started at the bottom. Yes, she did. And she worked her way up. Now, did the most famous companies in the world, ask yourself this, did the most famous companies in the world ask her to work for them because of her failures? I don't think so. I don't think so. But let's see what she says on Jerry. What show is this?
The Recruiting Animal Show.
Thank you, Jerry. Thank you. Okay, and I want to thank my sponsors, StaffingDebt.com. StaffingDebt.com. Man, if you are a third-party agency recruiter and somebody stiffs you, they specialize in collections for the recruiting business. So go check them out. Honeit, HONEIT.com. The online interview recording technology, video, audio, text. They create little clips for you, too, just by pressing buttons at the right time. Honeit. HireTool, HireTual.com, the super-duper sourcing tool, okay? You know, Nin from HireTool used to call in all the time. He used to listen to the show. I've become a bit passé, but they haven't. If there's a discussion of sourcing technology on any of the Facebook recruiting groups, everybody's praising HireTool, PCRecruiter.net, the Swiss Army knife of recruiting software. If you are a recruiter, PC Recruiter loves you, big or small, helps them all. You could be a kitchen table recruiter in your mom's basement, or you could be working in a big, tall building, probably not these days, though, with a big recruiting team. They're happy to help you either way. And now to the guest. I think she's here. I'm not sure. Welcome back, Amy Miller. Are you here?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
I'm here.
I can hear you, but I mean, like, I'm glad. I guess you're such an old hand on this show. You can call in 1 second before it starts and feel confident.
I'm so prepared.
Yeah. Okay. Ala Recruiter still on Twitter. Yep. ALA Recruiter. Okay.
That's me.
And you know what? I got a new tagline for you, but I want to check it out with you first. Okay. Are you ready?
Okay. Let's do it.
I got it right. I took it from one of your articles. I am that bitch girl. I am that bitch. Can I call you? Can I call you the I am that bitch girl from now on? I wonder. I just want to clear it with you.
All good.
Yeah, okay, great. I'm going to give you a chance also to plug your I am that bitch brand of T-shirts. Is that something you want to plug?
I'm a designer now.
What? You don't want to plug it?
I'll design one just for you.
Okay, sorry, I didn't hear what you said. Anyway, okay, here's my focus today. You know, there's a lot of recruiters out of work right now looking for jobs and sources too. And, you know, I just wondered if you've got tips for them. So I thought you've moved around a lot, and I'm going to ask you if it's okay with you about your, you know, the hiring process. Okay? So,
absolutely.
Okay, so let me see. Do you have any interview tips for recruiters? That's not necessarily the first question I was going to ask, but I can't remember what. Okay, go ahead.
Interview tips for recruiters. I mean, I think we all know this. Like, it's pretty simple, but talk about your accomplishments. Talk about the actual numbers and pass-through rates. And, I mean, you really got to be able to tell the story of why you can make shit happen. You know, we're all here. Our roles exist to make hires and to get people in process and get people to offer stage and accepting those offers. And we need to be able to.
Okay, so now you're going off track. First, you started with something concrete. You said, have your numbers ready. What kind of numbers? The number of jobs that you're working on per month?
Direct load. So the number of roles that you're personally responsible for, the number of candidates that you're reaching out to, the pass-through rate.
Hold on, number of candidates you're reaching out to. Hold on.
How many are you converting? That's what I want to know. I want to know the power of what you're doing and the end result of your numbers.
Yeah,
it's
but
not just,
you know,
I have 100
come on.
reps.
No. Let me interrupt you. I know you like to show your fans out there that you can talk over me and I have to give in, okay? But let me guide you a bit, okay? You threw out, I wanted to just isolate it, okay? So these recruiters are not that smart. I want to lay it out for them, okay? I'm imagining it was me listening. So have the number of jobs that you're working on average per month. Yes? Is that what you're saying? Know that? You have to know that?
Know that. Yes, you should know that.
Okay. So you have to know the job titles that you're working on as well, just so you can give them off the top of your head, job titles?
You can know job profiles. You don't need a specific title, but you can say, I worked primarily in software engineering. You don't have to give a specific title, but just know what the hell you're looking for. Okay,
so you said how many people are you reaching out to? So every job is different. Are they all the same, or is there an average? What are you referring to there?
There is not an average, but the power in this information is being able to say, hey, I'm responsible for 30 roles on average. They're all in the software engineering industry. My focus is to have at least one touch point between a client and a candidate every day, and in doing that, I'm averaging 5 hires a month. That's an impactful story that paints a picture for the person who may want to hire you.
Okay, I found that kind of vague. You've got 30 jobs that you're working on, and you're talking about one contact point, which I don't know what that means, like an interview, or what does contact point mean?
Yeah, it could be an interview or a phone interview. Basically, and this goes back to my agency days, right, where the goal was always like, where's your send out every day? Where's your send out? Do I have a candidate?
Okay, so you want to your goal, you should be able to tell the employer, if you're a recruiter, that your goal is one send out per day, even if you're an inside corporate recruiter, right? One send out per day. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. That is my personal goal. I don't always get it because my roles are very, very specialized.
But you know what? When we're talking 30 jobs, when we're talking 30 jobs, that doesn't say much. Like, I thought you were going to tell me, okay, for these 30 jobs, okay, for each job, I'm going to be contacting or sourcing, 5 people, 5 likely candidates, and sending out 3 per month. At least I'll know what I'm doing per job, or like giving out like 30 jobs and saying I'm sending out one per day.
You're asking me what a recruiter should say in an interview, and that's what I'm telling you. So you give a high level, this is my responsibility, this is what I do, this is where I focus every day. Okay, great. How many people are you reaching out to get that number? What methods are you using to source the candidates? Like, then you start peeling back the layers of the onion. Let the interviewer ask questions and get into the detail that they want to know that'd be helpful, and be ready to answer those questions.
Hi there, I'm Peter Zollman. I'm a co-host of the Inside Job Boards and Recruitment Marketplaces podcast.
And I'm Stephen Rothberg, and I guess that makes me the other co-host.
Every other week, we're joined by guests from the world's leading job sites.
Together, we analyze news about general, niche, and aggregator job board and recruitment marketplaces sites.
Make sure you sign up and subscribe today.
Okay, well, we've got questions coming, but I have a beef that I want to take up with you. I read all your articles, okay? Not all of them, some of them. Some of them. You'll see quite a few, dear. I'm going to throw a lot of words back in your face, okay? Now, you had a candidate, okay? You're very big on coaching the candidates, and you want to be coached as well by recruiters. I'm going to get to that, but you had this candidate named Cliff. Okay, you had a startup client, and they wanted somebody. What's that noise?
That is not me.
Okay. Let me just see if anybody. I'll open up for area code 954. Okay. So you had a client. It was a startup. They wanted someone from the utilities industry. They were into solar, but the guy or girl didn't have to have solar experience.
Correct.
They wanted somebody who was confident and felt that he or she could ramp up to that job, and the founder could just hand everything over to him. Did I describe it properly?
Yes, you did.
Okay. So you found this guy, Cliff. Okay. He'd been in the public utility sector, didn't have any solar. Okay, and your client was very enthusiastic about him. Sorry, I'm doing all the talking. Okay, very enthusiastic.
You're doing very well. You obviously read the post. You're spot on.
Okay, so wait till I get to you. So anyway, so you called up Cliff and said, Cliff, I'm going to prep you for the job. He said, "Yep, I know this business since before you were in diapers or something like that. Exactly. I don't need you to tell me." That's what he said, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So this guy went out, okay, and to use your own words, he shit the bed, okay?
He did.
You were in diapers, but he shit the bed. That's what you said.
He needed the diaper, not me.
Okay.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah. Okay. The problem was they wanted a confident person, and he went out there, and he kept saying, I don't have any solar experience. I don't have any solar. He was focused on the negatives. And so the client called you back, was very disappointed because he had high hopes for this guy. And the idiot, Cliff, he had the nerve to say, Amy, why didn't you tell me?
Right? Yeah, he did.
Okay. Well, here's the thing.
This was 2005, and I remember it like it was yesterday.
Okay. But here's where you're wrong, Amy. You said you could have. Yeah, Michael G. Cox, hi. Listen to this, though, Michael G. She said, if he would have listened to me, I could have made it work. You know what? You saved your client a disaster by not coaching this guy. He was a loser. You did not want him taking that job. Coaching was the wrong thing. What do you think?
I think that he cost me a $30,000 fee, and I was a little pissy about that. So it's a fair point. Could the guy have performed? Who knows? Maybe it wouldn't have been a good fit, but we'll never know because Cliff shit the bed.
Okay, hold on. Michael G. Cox is going to decide here. Michael G. Cox, did you hear the whole story?
Yes.
Okay. Was that guy a realistic candidate? Everybody's open now. Was that guy a good candidate? You know, he sounds like a loser to me. If all Amy could have done is got him to fake it. He had the wrong attitude. What do you think?
No, I don't think she would have gotten him to fake it. But if she could have helped him get out of his own way and still present the value that he brings, he may have stood a much better chance of actually landing a job that did make sense for him instead of allowing himself to talk himself out of it.
Okay, thanks, Michael G. Cox. I don't like what you said. Jerry, did you hear the story? Do you want to comment?
I figured.
Yeah, I heard the story. And are you wanting me to weigh in on whether interviews could be better with more information?
Hold on. Well, there's some people say, look, I don't touch the candidate's resume. I don't coach them. I want the client to see the or the hiring manager to see the unfiltered person, not my Potemkin village fake. But what do you say?
They're going to see the unfiltered person anyway. A 15-minute, how to interview conversation with some young punk recruiter goes in one ear and out the other. I stopped doing that 25 years ago.
So you don't do prep?
Nope. Good luck, man. Or woman. Good luck to you. And I will tell you, my interviews to hires ratio didn't change at all. There's no value.
Well, although you're hiring, you're placing developers primarily, and Amy was working on a CFO job, soon to become CEO. Okay, might have been a little different.
If you have to coach a CFO to help them get the job, and if you don't coach them, they wouldn't have gotten the job. No, there's more to it than that.
Okay.
With all due respect to Amy.
He might have blown it in a completely different way, even if he had listened to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I just know for certain that was the biggest takeaway, and that was what the client said.
I got to tell you, that was a fantastic story.
What we need,
Those
all of
two
that,
classic
but
lines.
He just kept focusing on the lack of solar startup experience.
Yeah, I love the story. It's great. Okay.
Lesson learned. Why don't you love more stories?
Okay, so you say, here's what you say. When it was my turn to be interviewed, I realized how little I knew about the employer's expectations and how they were going to grade me. I was so grateful I listened to my recruiter and soaked up the many prep documents she sent me ahead of time. Okay, what are we saying there? Like, you knew your job. What did you have to learn?
Are we talking? Was that in reference to my current job?
You said my now employer's expectations. Yeah, you went out. What you're saying there is when you go out for an interview, and I assume you've been to quite a few. Okay, because you've been at a number of jobs since I've known you, and you've always moving up, and so anyway, so you're saying that you really like to be prepped. Okay, me and Jerry are doubting the value, but you're saying it's great even for an experienced person. What's so good about it?
Absolutely. Well, so I'll give you. So in my current job, I work for Amazon, which is notorious for having these leadership principles, and leadership principles make up a significant portion of the interview. And if you don't nail them, if you don't have good answers, you're not able to articulate your answers to the leadership principles, you're not going to get an offer. I did not know that before I started talking seriously to Amazon and got prepped and got the information. And now as a recruiter getting people hired at Amazon, I watch it play out every day. So, yeah, you cannot listen to me and take a chance and then bomb because of information that I could have helped you through, or you can listen. I'm not trying to game the system. I'm trying to help you understand the rules of the game so that you can play it better.
My opinion is forever changed. I've learned something today. I'm going to get back to mowing my lawn and listening to John Cougar Mellencamp's 1985 smash album, Scarecrow.
Okay, well, Jerry just told us about his state if he's a fan of John Cougar Mellencamp. Okay, you know what?
Please do not address him as John Cougar.
He's now Mellencamp?
He's only John Mellencamp.
Well, what's his song? Buffy and Billy or Sue or something like that? I can't remember.
Jack and Diane?
Oh, come on.
Jack and Diane, that's
Jack
right.
And Diane.
you can hate him.
The taste freeze.
Okay.
Gosh.
Yeah, I was trying to. Sorry, I'm going off on a tangent, but I was trying to think of famous Canadian musicians the other day. So Neil Young, Leonard Cohen, Joni Mitchell, Bryan Adams. Anybody else?
Don
Oh yeah, you like Tragically Hip. Yeah, you like Tragically Hip. Okay, hold on. I want to just pursue this for a second. If I remember correctly, Tyron Giuliani, when he was a recruiter in Japan, he's still in Japan, but he's doing something else right now. Okay, he used to
Training on
do work
LinkedIn.
for
It's
Amazon,
obvious.
and he told us they've got this leadership stuff, and he spent hours prepping his senior executive clients, candidates, on this stuff. So they're a bit different. They've got Credo that's an extended document that the candidates have to pretty well memorize before they go in. Wouldn't you say that's different, Amy?
I mean, I guess. Yeah, it depends
Well, what
on the
about
company,
when
right?
you worked at Microsoft and Google, okay? Were the
Yeah.
interviews any different? Did you get prepped in the same way? Was it equally important?
Yeah, it was definitely equally important, for sure. Absolutely.
Okay, I'll move on. Okay, here's the thing. You said
Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah, okay.
I mean, I missed a couple weeks, and I come back and I realize, yep, same old shit.
Yeah, a couple of months is more
Regression.
like it. A couple of months is more like it, Jerry.
I
Okay.
only called in to say hello to Amy.
Hi,
Yeah,
Jerry.
I missed her last time. My goodness. And it's
Yeah.
the same stuff.
Yeah.
Have you
Blame
ever
Okay.
the
I can
interviewer.
barely hear. I
Blame
can
the
barely
interviewer.
hear either of you. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Here's the
Back to
thing.
Mo, and I'll send you a picture.
Yeah, thanks, Jerry. Okay, if you're Amy, when you go into these interviews, do people ever say, I read you said this? I'm going to read a bunch of your lines, okay, right from
Do
your
it.
stuff. Anybody could read it. I want to know if they ever say, Amy, you said this stuff, okay? I'm 100% that bitch who gets all judgy when people spam me. Does anyone ever say, Amy, are you a bitch?
No one's ever said that to me but you.
Okay. What about this? I believe that good consulting sometimes looks like bad customer service. That
Yes.
sounds like, I'm a bitch and I'm going to be in your
No,
face.
but let me tell you, that line was brought up in my Amazon interview by 3 different people, and they loved it.
Okay. So I'm right.
sorry, which line was that?
They do read your stuff and
I
throw it
believe
at you.
that good consulting sometimes looks like bad customer service.
What answer did you give them? Okay, what does it mean? What does it mean for a recruiter?
It means that when I am consulting with a hiring manager, I am sometimes going to have difficult conversations. You cannot ask for these things in your job description. You cannot interview 47 candidates before you make a decision. You cannot put a candidate on the shelf and talk to 10 more people before making a decision. I'm consulting them on their recruiting strategy and how to talk to candidates and how to make decisions and how to get them to pull the trigger on someone, or, even if it's no, like, hey, if you're not excited about this person, it's a no. We're rejecting. We're moving on. And that flies in the face of this bullshit that the customer is always right. Because if the customer is always right and we're just acting to hiring managers like whatever you say goes and whatever you want is what we're going to do, you're failing as a recruiter. And that's what that means. It is not Burger King. You do not get it your way. It's a partnership, and we're going to figure it out together.
Do you use that line on them? This is not Burger King, because that
All
sounds
the
rehearsed.
time. All the time.
Okay,
You
but
bet
here
I
guess
do.
that.
I'm going to put it on a T-shirt.
Yeah, I
You
guess
bet I
that
do.
takes. Okay, I guess that takes care of the next 2 lines. A recruiter is not an order taker. So, did they ask you about that? They ask you about that one?
Yes. And they're
Okay.
glad that I'm not. I'm not an order taker. I'm a business partner. I'm going to help you build your team.
Okay. And then
Yeah, I say
there's
that all
also
the time. It's part of my intake.
okay. Here's another one. I'll give this as much priority as you do. If the hiring manager is not willing to play ball, why should I? Do people talk to you about that?
Yes, they love it. This resonates with people in recruiting. I don't know if you know this, but this is actually the kind of strategic thinking we need more of in recruiting.
Okay, so if someone's listening, if someone's going out for interviews and they're listening to this,
is why I'm here.
Okay, so they listen to this show, they write down what Amy said, and they go repeat those ideas word for word or in their own words. Are they gonna? It's not going to work, Michael G. Cox.
No,
Who said that?
It depends. Yeah, it was Michael. it depends on who you're sharing those words with, because some organizations aren't quite. They're more interested in receiving the great customer service and you saying yes. Okay, we'll do it that way. And other organizations are more open to being told you're doing it wrong. Do it like this.
There's also a way to message
that everywhere.
You know, I don't go in guns blazing like, oh, you're doing it wrong, and I'm here to completely like upset your apple cart here, and I'm going to tell you how you suck and how I can do it better. That's not necessarily the method here. It's sometimes little incremental changes. It's constantly asking questions. It's, well, gosh, what if we did this? Or, hey, what do you think about that? I'm not saying go in and blow it up because, like Michael said, not every company is going to be receptive to that. But you can absolutely nudge and influence.
Okay. In some places,
that's the low-key version.
There's an entire
work
spectrum.
With someone that I can't influence. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah. There's an entire spectrum of organizations out there.
Yeah,
100%.
okay. And if you're desperate for a job, you got to know who you're talking to. I mean, she's not desperate, right? She can say whatever she wants. Okay?
If I was in a different situation, I may back off on some of this stuff, you know, and to get into where I need to be or to get employed or whatever. I understand this isn't necessarily for everybody, but where I'm at right now in my career, absolutely.
Okay. Got to do an ad. StaffingDebt.com. StaffingDebt.com. If you're a third-party agency recruiter and someone cheats you, man, they're the people to call. Wilson Cole, look, he was here a few weeks ago. Look up his interview. He sounds great, okay? Rich Rosen endorses them. He's a $1 million biller, okay? And they've also got their backdoor hiring software. They'll find out for you if someone has stolen your candidate without paying you. And when you call the company, they'll say, oh, we did it by accident. Yeah, sure. Okay. Honeit, HONEIT.com, online interview recording technology. You are talking to the candidate. You come to an important question. You press a button. When you finish that discussion, you press another button. Creates a little clip for you. You can pass it on to the hiring manager. She can hear the candidate in her own words with all the passion that a candidate has, describing that key thing. Hire Tool, HIRETUAL. Amy, you still using it?
Yes, every day.
Okay, there you go. There you go. PCRecruiter.net, the Swiss Army knife of recruiting software. They don't impose their work organization on you, their style of work. You configure, that means customize, the software to suit you. And if you don't know how to do it, they're happy to help you. Big or small, they love you all if you're a recruiter. Okay, can I keep going on this, Amy? Does it sound like it's of value?
Whatever you want.
Okay, I like it. Jerry doesn't like anything I do, but he's gone. Okay,
okay.
Here's something else you said. I hate scheduling interviews. Okay, because I suck at it. I can barely manage my own calendar. Has anyone ever asked you about that you declared in public?
Nope. They're like, hey, no problem. We have recruiting coordinators to help you out. You never have to worry about that.
Okay, yes, they don't have to worry about it. Okay. Here's something else you said, okay? I hate closing the loop with candidates who aren't getting an offer. I hate. That's your words, not mine. This part with every fiber of my body. Michael G. Cox, I am talking to someone who doesn't hold it back, okay? She puts it out there.
I do it, but I do not enjoy it at all.
Okay. Do they ever ask you about that, Amy?
It's never really come up. I mean, the only thing that's really come close is, kind of talk about what does rejection look like and how do you do it and the importance of doing it quickly. So, yeah, we talk through that, and, of course, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to be respectful of any policies about feedback or whatever. But, yeah, I think it makes me human, if anything. Of course I don't like rejecting people. It sucks.
Okay, if you hate something that much, it's going to create a lot of stress on the job in your business, okay?
Oh, my God. I'm in recruiting. Do you think I'm ever not stressed?
Okay.
I've been stressed for 20 years.
Michael G. Cox, here's the thing, though. You're with a big company, and so it's easy for you to say, you know what, we've always got positions coming up. No, she still is. Okay, although maybe she's with a small department.
Michael used to.
Oh, you used to be. Okay, right. Okay, but I didn't say you. I said her. Okay, but she's with a specific department, so maybe it's not that big. Okay, but she can always say, or Amy, it looks to me like you can always say, you know what? We've always got lots of positions coming. I'll hold on to your file, and if something comes up, I'm going to be
not
calling
as easy in my current world though, because the positions that I'm recruiting for are incredibly specialized. So that would not be accurate.
But even Amy, I think even if you were doing like jobs where you're filling 100 of these a month.
Sure.
You know, mass, it's going to be really damn near impossible to say, use that line truthfully. I'll keep you in mind, kind of thing. I'll hang on to your information.
Absolutely.
It's hard.
Okay, so they ask you how you do it.
If it's
Tell us.
accurate, say it, but I try not to say it because it's usually not necessarily true, especially for
I think that's
really
what you told me before. That's what you say. That's why I brought it up. Okay, but now you're telling me no.
I probably said that. Now, hold on. I probably said that when I was at Microsoft and I was hiring software engineers that could literally work in thousands of roles across the company, which may have been true because the way Microsoft recruited when I was there anyway, you could get rejected from my client today and go work for Azure tomorrow. They didn't necessarily leverage the same feedback or automatically reject for the company the way Google does, for example. So in that case, it could have been very accurate.
So how do you do it now? So long, sucker. What do you do?
Hey, I'm Katie Van Horn.
And I'm Jackie Clayton.
We're your hosts of the Inclusive AF podcast, where we take on DEI, leadership, and HR without all the corporate fluff.
That's right. We've got decades of experience, a lot of opinions, and zero tolerance for performative anything.
Every week, we dig into what it really takes to build inclusive workplaces with honesty, strategy, and a few side eyes.
We'll talk about the tough stuff, power dynamics, privilege, what's broken in the system, and how we can all do better.
And don't worry, it's not all heavy. We bring receipts, laughs, and real talk from people actually doing the work.
Think of it as your weekly dose of truth, tips, and a little tea to help you lead with intention and show up for your people.
So if you're ready to push past the buzzwords and get into the actual work of inclusion,
you're in the right place. So subscribe to the Inclusive AF podcast.
New episodes drop every week.
Catch us on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.
We'll be here breaking it down one inclusive convo at a time.
I tell them, we're not able to move forward with an offer. Please do, keep us in mind in the future. Maybe we revisit in a year or two when you've had a little bit more experience.
Yeah, you're using it. Okay.
I'm talking about a year or two from now, though. I'm not saying, I'm going to hold on to your resume and call you next week. I'm saying as our company continues to grow, as we get the satellites off the ground or whatever it is we're doing, as you gain more experience in finite element analysis or whatever it is, then maybe we revisit down the road. But I don't make promises that we're going to revisit you next week.
Okay. And you don't give any, this is why you struck out.
Typically, big companies have a policy against sharing specific feedback.
Okay.
So no,
do they say,
not.
well, what if someone says, Amy, can you tell me why I didn't get the job?
So I actually tell people in the very first conversation, if we go through this process, here's what the steps look like. Just so you know, if we're not able to move forward to the next step, whatever that is, I cannot give you specific feedback. I tell them this from the go. I remind them, hey, so like we talked about 3 weeks ago in our first conversation, I can't give you specific feedback. It's not a surprise.
Okay. Anybody want to talk? Michael G. Cox is always welcome, but there's other people on the line. If you want to say something, just speak out. Okay? We I might yell at you, but so what? Right? She yells at me. She tries to talk through me. Okay? Jerry, he's always stabbed me in the back when he's here. Okay?
And then he
so,
leaves
I can take it. Yeah. Okay.
Hey, Amy.
Yes, ma'am.
It's Kendra. How are you?
Hi, Kendra.
Hi. So I sometimes I won't say I make friends with the candidates, but it is hard to tell them no, thank you. I always ask them to connect with me on LinkedIn and point out you've now increased your network. All my second connections are your second connections now.
I love that.
And they feel like there's a little bit of quid pro quo, but then, of course, I have new candidates.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, look, I put out content every week to help job seekers. I write blogs once in a while. Like, I put out tons of information that people can leverage.
Yeah, you might as well give them a Kewpie doll. That's a consolation prize. Hey, you can connect to me on LinkedIn.
Hey, it's better than no prize at all.
Listen, honey, I can look those people up myself, okay?
Oh, can you? Can you really if you're the average job seeker? Bullshit.
Well,
That's
like Amy,
false
I'm
if
in
you
a
know it.
very specialized niche. There's something I'm looking for in the AV industry that's very specialized. So they do appreciate the LinkedIn because it does give them contacts, hiring managers, lots of people within the industry that they might not, because they don't have powerful LinkedIn. They have lame LinkedIn. They might not see these people.
Yeah,
This
you've
is
got
not
lame
their area
LinkedIn.
of
I've got
expertise,
powerful
Animal.
LinkedIn. Connect to me.
Networking is not their superpower. You know, knowing how to leverage their connections is not necessarily something they're doing every day. So they appreciate people like Kendra and I who recognize the value in sharing our networks, trying to give them some
I haven't
tips on how
talked to
to get
Kendra
the
for a
next
while.
role.
She's still got that smoky voice, but it sounds like it's got a bit of an edge to it. She must have been on the phone a lot lately. Okay.
No. I live in Connecticut, and we have no power. The whole goddamn state has no power, internet or phone, and I drove to New Jersey to work.
Oh, really? Okay. That sounds far to me. Anything else you want to say right now, Kendra?
No, but they actually, candidates do appreciate it because if they are connected to me, if I push content, they will see it in their feed as well. Or if I post a new role, that's the other bonus, not just being friends with me or sharing my network, but they will be sure to see other opportunities at this firm or opportunities that I repost for other recruiters.
I got to tell you, if I kiss somebody off, the last thing I want them is to see the job so they can come and bug me again, because that's sort of my take. I mean, there's something wrong with the candidate.
Yeah, I mean,
sometimes
it happens.
not.
And then you just remind them, hey, really glad to hear you're still interested, but you know what? Unfortunately, not enough time has passed. We need to make sure that we can actually get some additional feedback about you, give you a chance to learn something new, whatever it is. It's just a friendly reminder of a conversation we've already had 17 times.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
I don't say it to everybody. I don't offer everybody the connection. Just the ones that came far down the path that obviously would have a potential here in the future.
Well, like the ones you said you make friends with. You like them.
The ones I think have potential for another role, another time.
Okay. How long did you take to drive to New Jersey?
45 minutes. It
that's
actually,
all.
when I used to commute in Connecticut, I drove further than that to get to where I work. So.
Oakley Dokley, Kendra, speak up again if you want to say something. Nice to hear from you. Usually you don't like talking. Okay, here's what Amy says as well. Because she says, I've learned so much over the years. The most important lesson, though, is that I'm actually really good at this.
I really am. That's true.
Well,
don't hurt your shoulder, patting yourself on the back there.
Yeah, I mean, if I go to the interview and they say, well, tell us about yourself, I say, didn't you read my blog? I have to control. I feel like swearing a lot for some reason in this episode. Okay. Didn't you read my expletive deleted blog? I'm going to quote it to you, okay? I've learned a lot, and I am good.
I actually send them clips of my Animal Show appearances and just let that speak for me.
Okay.
Let them run.
Okay, so hold on. What is it? Okay, now here I actually here's where you actually do elucidate where you add value. I'm just going to remind everyone about the sponsors: StaffingDebt.com, PCRecruiter.net, HireTool, HireTual, and Honeit, HONEIT.com, the online interview technology. Okay. Online interview recording technology. Here's what you say. I work really hard to engage people who otherwise wouldn't consider a job change. I like that, okay?
Yeah,
is that,
for sure.
Okay.
Recruiting 101, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. No, I like the way you put that. I convince managers to take chances on people who might not look right on paper. I would like to hear a little more about that. What does that mean? They may not. Do you have a story about someone who didn't look right and you got them an interview or something like that?
Let me think.
You know
I'm
what?
sure there's a yeah. Okay, so this was at Google actually. We were looking for an engineering manager with a very specific background. Really needed somebody to do fraud analysis, had to be like an expert in machine learning. There was a lot of that. And, Google, they get their fair share of people interested, and, you think it'd be easy, but it's not. And so the manager really had a very specific idea in his mind of what that person should look like. I actually found somebody in fintech, no relatable relevance apparently to videos and online content, but the dude was an absolute genius when it came to machine learning and fraud detection. So I had to basically write that story up, get on the phone with the manager and say, don't look at the company, don't worry about the end user or the programmer or whatever. Focus on the fraud and the machine learning. This guy is worth a conversation. If I had just sent a piece of paper, he would have said no. But because I actually got on the phone with him and explained to him, here's where the pieces line up, he talked to him, and we ended up hiring that guy.
Hold on a second. The hiring manager is the tech expert. You've told us many times, I'm not a technical person, okay?
Right.
How come it was a he? How come he couldn't tell that? How come you could tell it and you don't think the hiring manager would have figured it out?
Because he was thinking, I need somebody that comes from like a video processing, online content, the traditional big tech kind of mentality. He had that same thought, like, okay, we really need somebody out of, Facebook or Instagram or something like that. And because this guy had very transferable technical skills in machine learning and fraud detection, that was the correlation that I used to get him to look past the guy's resume.
Yeah, I understand that. You're telling me the same story a second time.
Yes,
I want to know why the hiring manager was such a dope that, unless there was not the right information wasn't presented in the resume, that there was some backstory that you knew that wasn't on paper. I don't know why he couldn't figure it out. Michael G. Cox, are you with me on this?
Yes, and you see that everywhere, even if it's more entry level or mid level type positions. They're looking for somebody. Hey, we need to find somebody like John. Remember John? Yeah. John is great. It's like, dude, break the mold.
Yeah, they have this idea that, this person has to have relevance in the industry. Oh, this person has to come from certain companies. Oh, this person has to have a certain pedigree. Our job is to bust that and to be able to prove the why. You can't just walk in and say, I think you really need to talk to this person because I said so. You have to be able to say, you need to talk to this person because here's how they map to the problem that you're trying to solve. You said this thing was important. This is how this person can do that thing. Forget about the company they're at today. Forget about their degree. They have a proven history of fraud detection with millions of users. That's what you said you wanted. Oh, but Amy, he's fintech. Don't worry about that. Focus on he's fraud detection with millions of users. Get on the phone with him. And he did, and we hired him.
Kendra, I want to see what Kendra says. Are you going to back? I dare you. I want you to be honest. Are you going to back Amy up with this? Are hiring managers so narrow-minded that they can't see these things, and a recruiter who doesn't even have the anywhere near the technical background they do, able to figure it out?
Well, if they match your top 3 things that the hiring manager told you in the partnership meeting and you've vetted the candidate, they should at least consider. But fintech is a funny fish out here on the East Coast. I've had so many hiring managers that have a certain prejudice against fintech. They believe that they solve problems in a 1-inch by 1-inch box, and they have a certain Wall Street mentality. And I find you've got to let them know this person is interesting. He has solved problems end to end. It's like what Amy's saying. If you can make the match and disabuse them of their prejudice against fintech.
So hiring managers, it proves what I always say. Hiring managers are the dumbest people in the world. They've got all these qualifications, and they can't see what's in front of them. They need a layperson to figure it out.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Everybody, including hiring managers, sees the world through the lens of their own experience. Okay, so if I'm a hiring manager and I grew up in tech and I've got a CS degree and I've worked for the big names and the people around me have worked for the big names and the people that I trust have the same background that I do, when you're panicking, thinking about your workload, thinking about needing to build a team, you're going to defer to the path of least resistance, which is let me hire somebody who I can trust from the start. The recruiter's job is to help them see how broadening their expectations, taking chances on people who don't look like them, figuratively as well as literally, can be a game changer. It's not because they're bad people. It's not because they're dumb. They just need to see the world through a different lens, and it is our job to help them do that.
Amen.
Michael G. Cox, were you going to say a final word?
So I think it maps back to your initial conversation with that hiring manager. What is this person, and if you focus on the accomplishments, okay, so they need to do these things in the next 6 months to be highly successful. Okay, what are the skills that they need to have that are going to be applied to those things? And then you go out and you find those individuals that have done those things, that have been involved in activities for a long period of time to develop those skills, and then you go, hey, here's a guy that has those skills. He's done these things that have built those skills. Let's have a conversation with him. Because
let me hold on. Based on what you're saying, I want to go to Amy back for the final word. How did Amy? How did you figure out to talk to this person in the first place if he didn't match the job description exactly?
No, that's a fair question. And so let me start at the beginning though, okay? Because if there's one thing that any recruiter listening to this call takes away from this, if there's one thing, forget about the rec. Focus on the business problem your
rec
manager
is a job order for
solve.
People who not every agency.
Forget about the job order. Forget about the job description. Forget about the open position. Forget about I got to make my hire. Get that out of your head. Focus on the business problem that you are trying to solve through talent. So it's exactly what Michael and Kendra have said. What is this person going to do exactly? Okay, they need to be an ML expert. Why? How do they use ML? Are they creating an algorithm? Are they copying and pasting it from somewhere else in the code base? Like, what does that mean? Oh, well, they're going to lead the team that is detecting fraud. Tell me more about that. What does fraud look like on YouTube, and how does it show up? So it's getting them to explain, this is the problem we have. The person who's going to come in and fix it is going to do it with these tools or that work, and then you go find people who did that stuff. And that's what I did. This is
and so you used a keyword like fraud to find this person.
Yes,
is that how?
Absolutely.
I'm sure she went beyond
but
just looking for a keyword on a resume.
Fraud showed up on a resume. It wasn't that. It was how did this person beat fraud?
Okay, I'm not going to find that out. Okay, I'm going to have to pull the teeth to get that answer. I asked you, how'd you come to this person, and you gave me a lecture. Tell me.
Tell you what. What do you want to know?
I wanted to know how you found. And did you do some kind of search?
I found him on Twitter, actually, but that's beside the point.
I found him on Twitter. Tell us about that.
So I would actually run searches. This is when I was at Google. I would run searches for engineering managers. And so I would just create lists on Twitter of all these engineering managers. And Twitter's great because people are more transparent. They also link to their personal site. So they have their GitHub profile. They've got their personal blogs. They have all this other kind of stuff that you don't necessarily find on LinkedIn if they're even on LinkedIn, which for a lot of technical people, they're not, or they have a very bare bones profile. So the ones that I liked out of that curated list that I was constantly going in and updating, they would follow the ones that I wanted to talk to me. They would almost always follow me back. So now I can send them a message and it's not going to go into the other folder, or I could drop a quick tweet about something that I think would resonate with them. And so it just spurs a conversation. All I'm trying to do is sell you on a conversation. If I'm sending you a DM, hey, I might have some stuff that might be pretty cool. I don't know if you want to hear about it, but here's my number. Okay, let's just have a 10-minute conversation. Okay, now let's have a 30-minute conversation.
Okay, I've got you've got a whole lecture. Don't use a general statement like that. Make it personal. Wait a second, I got to do my ad. StaffingDebt.com. If you're an agency recruiter and someone is cheating you, okay, these guys specialize in collecting money for the recruiting business. Okay, is someone in their washroom and running the tap? Okay.
Sorry, dude.
I don't need that on the show.
I'll mute.
Okay. Hire Tool, HIRETUA. Yeah. Man, this is a classy show. But I got to say, Michael G. Cox is such a good guy that I will forgive him. Okay, HireTool.com. Amy uses it. It's great.
I do.
Sourcing software. Okay. Hone It, HONEIT.com. Online interview technology. Man, it's audio, video, text, searchable text document, the whole interview. Plus, you can create clips for the most important questions as you're speaking to the candidate and pass his or her or, non-sexual person words directly to your hiring manager to listen to it directly, okay? And finally, PCRecruiter.net for kitchen table recruiters, for big company recruiters, for every kind of recruiter. The recruiting software that's like a Swiss Army knife for PCRecruiter.net. Amy, are you ready?
I'm ready.
I peel back the layers to understand the emotional currency of my candidates. I peel back the layers. What are you, a psychiatrist, or what's going on here?
A little bit. There's definitely a little bit of armchair psychology that happens here. We are therapists, we are influencers, we are closers, we are negotiators, we are all of those things. I mean, you really have to get to know someone on a professional level.
Someone would listen to you and
understand.
think that recruiters are some kind of geniuses. And you know what? They're not.
I mean,
okay?
I am. I don't know about all recruiters.
Yeah, maybe you are. Yeah, okay. You were talking the royal we, just referring to yourself, even though you were using the plural. Okay.
Maybe.
Okay.
And Michael and Kendra and a bunch of others too. We're all really good.
They're the greatest. Okay, I agree. They listen to the Recruiting Animal Show. I mean, that's the qualifier right there.
That's where we got it. Yeah.
Okay. Give me an example of where you peeled back the layers to understand the emotional currency. I guess that means the things that are important to the candidate. Go ahead.
The things that are important to them, the things that pay off emotionally.
Where did you get that line, that phrase, emotional currency?
I never made that one up. I'm not sure.
Almost famous.
Was that it? I don't know. I'm sure I heard it somewhere. I'm not.
In the movie
clever.
Almost Famous, Lester Bangs talks about it most.
Yeah, see, there you go.
Did you see that movie? Did you see that movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to go watch it again.
Ahead.
I'm sure it probably subconsciously planted in my brain and came out in a recruiting conversation.
Tell us a story about emotional
currency. I'll tell you a specific story. Let me tell you a war story, okay? The last hire I made at Microsoft before I joined Google. So here I am negotiating my own package with Google, talking to a candidate who has a competing offer from Google, okay? So in the course of our conversation, this went on for a few months. This was one of those really specialized, like, AI engineers with a couple PhDs, like, really one of the smartest people I've ever met.
Hey, this is Brent Skinner, host of Small Talk Window here at the Work Defined Podcasting Network. Have you ever wanted a short podcast to listen to during a coffee break of your workday? You've come to the right place. My guests dispense with the small talk as quickly as possible and settle into a meaningful conversation around the world of work.
Yeah.
And I, get him through the interview process, get him to offer. He's also got an offer in hand from Google. And he's like, man, I really like the project. I really want to be at Microsoft, but the Google offer is like way more, like a lot of money, big difference. So what I did, and because we've been doing this at every touch point, I kept kind of peeling back those layers. What do you really want to work on? What kind of patents do you really want your name on? What is Google offering you in terms of that? Have they, if you come here on the AI team, you're going to be able to do this and this and this. What are you going to do at Google? And he didn't know because of the way Google hires, they team match later, and it's all very vague and not super candidate-centric. He ended up taking the Microsoft job, even though it was less money, because I appealed to his emotional currency and the things that really mattered to him when he thought about career growth, what he gets to build, what he gets to have his name on, those kinds of things. Google couldn't answer those questions for him. I did, and I won.
Yay.
Okay. I don't know if I understand, but I understand it at the theoretic level, but Yeah, and these people will tell you where their other offers are and give you a chance to argue against them. Is that true?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they? Because I build a trusted relationship with them from the start. I lead with comp. I give a number first. Every time. When we have our first conversation, I plant the seed. At some point, compensation is going to be really important. It's early right now. We just met. I have not proven to you that you can trust me with this information. But let me tell you what we're thinking. This is what a starting salary could look like, depending on these factors. Here's the absolute minimum I would want to offer someone with your background. As we move through this process, this is going to get more important. We're going to have to talk more about your expectations, any competing offers you might have. I want to make sure I'm giving you the best possible offer and allowing you to make a decision that is in your best interest with all the information you can get.
You actually give that speech on the phone?
Yes.
Okay, that's not in writing. That's not in an email.
No, it's on the phone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And so then they say, okay, Amy, you sound so good. I'm going to tell you exactly what Google is offering me. Is that what happens?
Yeah. Pretty much.
It's different, with a third-party agency recruiter. It's different because if you tell somebody, a recruiter who you're interviewing with, they might call them up and bring in competition against you. Okay, you can't trust them. Okay, that's what.
I mean, I've been out of the agency game a while, so I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, you're in a slightly different position. Anybody else have a question for Amy?
Yeah.
I went through all of her. I got tons of questions. So, anybody else?
Amy, how many times when you tell them the salary range, they turn around and offer unprompted what they make now?
At least 50% of the time. At least.
Every time.
And I say, whoa, don't tell me what you currently make. I don't care. But tell me what you want to make.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Where are you targeting? Where do you need to be?
Yeah, where do you need to be? What is an offer you could get excited about?
For any career move to make sense for you financially.
Maybe, post-interview. This is maybe interview prep discussion.
But Michael G. Cox wants to say something. He's soft-spoken. You got to give him a little room. What was that, Michael G. Cox?
The line or that part of the conversation, I usually say something like, for any kind of a career move to make sense for you financially, where do you need to be from a base salary perspective and on-target earnings? And if we're talking about another type, a higher level position, then we're going to start talking about.
Okay, but do they tell the truth?
But here's another
they can give you an inflated figure.
This is important, and I would encourage people to use this line, okay? This is another thing I say. We've had one conversation. You've seen a job description, but you don't know much else. I can't expect you to put a hard and fast price on your labor at this stage. I'd love to understand expectations, but I also want you to know that you have the right to change your mind as you learn more about us. And that makes them a lot more comfortable in giving me a number because I've given them an out that, hey, we might have to renegotiate this down the road depending on other factors. There is nothing wrong with that.
Hold on. You mean he can try to but do you also say, hey, I might have to negotiate you down because you were lying. I think you're lying with that number you're giving me about your requirement, right? The guy would take the job for 100. He's selling you 150.
If somebody is way out of range, and I just had this conversation yesterday. I told somebody, hey, I don't see us coming in any less than 150. Just FYI. We can talk more about it. We can break down what that looks like and how equity plays in, blah, blah, blah. But I don't see us coming in any less than that. Does that seem reasonable to you? And he said, absolutely. Okay, great. Now, if that conversation had gone differently and they came back and said, well, gosh, I really need like $400K to make a move, can you tell me how you came up with that number? I'm really curious the data that you're leveraging that makes that the right number for this kind of role. Help me understand.
Okay, so the 400 is ridiculous, but let's say he said 170 or 180. Would the same line have worked? Tell me how you came to that.
Okay, great. That in mind. Hopefully we get the right interview feedback and we can prove that you would be worth every penny, if not more.
Okay. Okay.
And animals, if you feel like they're trying to compete or do some sort of like a quick land grab by giving you this ridiculous number that is way out of range, just say, hey, yeah, I appreciate that, and I'm sure you're currently earning that, and this is maybe a slight bump, but this position now officially just cannot afford you.
No, that's not what I was referring to,
so
Mike,
move.
or Amy. I was referring to, it's within range, but this specific candidate doesn't deserve the max, okay? And they're giving you a figure close to the max.
We don't know that yet, though. We don't know that yet.
Yeah,
until we've gone through the interview process, until we've gathered all the data, until we've actually made a hiring decision, I don't know. I don't know what this person, deserves yet. We're not there yet. But it's good to know their expectations. Because fast forward, I end up getting that person 190, which is better than what they told me their expectations were up front. And they come back and say, well, gosh, I talked to my sister or some dumbass thought leader on LinkedIn said I need a 50% raise. I need 250. Okay, let's have a reality check.
Okay, but hold on, Amy. You give them a figure right at the beginning, right? You say,
yes, I do.
And that's why she doesn't know everything just yet. This money conversation, this initial money conversation, is happening at the very front end in my conversation. So
but she might have to pull back. We're almost at the end of the show.
No,
she might have to pull back after this.
I'm not going to give them a number that I can't commit to. Never. That's why I don't do ranges. Ranges are dangerous because they only hear the top number. Hiring managers only hear the bottom number. I give you a minimum.
Okay, but how do you know he's worth the minimum? How do you know the candidate's worth the minimum? How do you know the candidate's worth the minimum?
If they're not worth the minimum, then they're not qualified for the job, and they're not going to get an offer anyway.
Okay. Kendra, still with us? Final words. Do you have any? Do you have any final words, Smokey? I'll call Amy the bitch, and I'll call you Smokey. Okay.
No, it's not the bitch. It's that bitch.
That bitch.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah. Anything you want to say to your sister Amy or the audience out there in recruiting land?
My twin Amy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Twinning.
Okay. Michael G. Cox, MikeRecruiter.com if you want to see his LinkedIn. Smart guy. Any parting words?
I have my moment.
Okay.
Oh, man. Hey, sorry about all the background noise. I am officially.
Oh, don't worry about it. I was just happy you're here.
I
My friends. Everybody talks about in real life. I've never met Amy. I probably never will. But I feel like I know her, and I have never spoken to her off of this show. Okay, that's the truth.
We'll have to remedy that.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like she's a friend of mine. Okay, Amy, any parting words? Just thanks for coming on. It's from me. Anything else?
Thank you for having me. Buy a T-shirt.
Okay, thank you.
Bill was okay, Animal was okay, but the show itself,
same old thing.
As a recruiter, there's nothing I'm going to now take to my desk, and I am in a state of constant listening, learning, and applying. That's my thing. I got nothing from this show. I'm not going to do